Hi there. So let's continue our journey with Universal Audio Luna and see how to use advanced MIDI controllers, touchscreen and iPad with Luna in music production. So let's get going with Luna and see how to utilize these type of controllers. Alrighty, let's dive firstly into advanced MIDI controller, and in this case it's a pad controller, native instrument Maschine. When using with Luna in straightforward manner, you basically of course need to create an instrument channel and then add a virtual instrument Maschine into that channel. As Luna does not support the multi-timbral instruments, so you can't get 16 channels in Luna, so you can only have one stereo channel coming from Maschine into the Luna when you are using it as a virtual instrument. And then of course you can utilize the mixer capabilities within Maschine to do the mix of your drums and possibly instruments that you are using. But all that is routed to a single stereo channel in Luna. However, there is a trick to do this in a way that you get all the 16 channels from Maschine into Luna. However, that has some constraints, and then you need to run Maschine as a standalone. I have done a video about it, so I will add a link into that video in here, so that if you want to use that type of a method to kind of get 16 channels from a standalone Maschine into Luna to record them, so that video will show how to do it. But yeah, let's go back to the focusing on the MIDI controller itself. So this type of a pad controller is handy when jamming and doing things in that respect, like playing and recording music. So that is a good example on the pad type of a advanced MIDI controller. Let's move forward. Okay, so let's look how to use an advanced MIDI controller in iPad that controls your digital audio workstations. Here I have a Metagrid Pro that enables you to create these buttons, layouts, and then do kind of macros into these buttons and key commands, so that you can do different type of things and actions towards your digital audio workstation. In this case, I have now created this template for Luna to be used with Luna, and of course I can easily then control everything from here. So if I want to snap to grid or enable or disable it, I want to increase or decrease the grid size, or for example I would like to create an instrument track, or I would like to create an audio track, and so all that can be easily then programmed into this and customized, so that it is kind of like it's your tool. So you can also toggle like between the mixer and timeline, and you have of course opportunity to have that in many other areas. So you can do all that stuff in the iPad. One thing that I have actually created myself that I have found very useful is that, like, if I select an empty insert slot for a effect that I would like to load, so I have done it so that this automatically basically enters and searches and adds Pro Q. Then if I go into the next slot and I select that one, if I want to bring Sute, it will bring Sute. So it will run these commands for me. So that makes actually things very handy and fast from a workflow point of view. So I don't need to type from a keyboard that what type of a plugin I want to have in Luna. I just basically click an empty slot and then press a button, and that's it. I can do a more deep dive on the Metagrid IO, how to program all this, but it's actually quite straightforward. So you can go into the macros, you can define your own macros and easily, and it comes with quite a great great guidance as well. So that's actually good way to do and control your digital audio workstation, in this case Luna, and it works great with Luna. So I use it a lot and it makes my workflow quite fast, using of course only of these few samples. But then you can do also different type of editing macros like fade in, fade out, cut, nudge, and things like that. But to keep this short, I will not go into the further details of this. I just introduced that this Metagrid IO and Metagrid Pro is a great tool to be used as an advanced MIDI controller towards Luna. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so next we will look into Monogram, and that is a device, an advanced MIDI controller that you can program. And the programming of course happens through the app that you download into your computer. So you can do here the mappings regarding on if you want to control a MIDI or in a MIDI mode or a joystick mode, or then if you want to work with the profile, Mac OS profile and properties. So this gives you an ability to bring expression into your play, and you can create different templates for it. So you can go from a template to another, and so on and so forth. So all these can be configured and changed based on your needs and your environments that you are working with. Also, this can be extended, so I have now in a simple form, but then I can also plug in new modules into it, so that I get rotary controls and buttons that I can also use and program them into. So in this case, if I look now into, for example, let's close this one, but this is basically the creator from where you can configure everything and create this profile. But let's close this one and let's go to Abbey Road and open that. So now when I'm here, I can basically then with these keys I can change the way of play. So from longs to short, swells. And then of course this gives you the ability to provide expression to your play. And then this I have added to control the reverb, the amount of reverb that is coming out. So if I take the whole reverb away, so you don't get the tail. And yeah, so this is extremely handy for controlling virtual instruments, but of course you can control also external instruments with it, and you can map these based on your needs from the program that we just looked. So that's basically that's the Monogram, one type of an advanced MIDI controller as is. So let's move on and let's look on the thing next to it, which is ROLI. And it is an advanced MIDI controller as well, but it's a standard MIDI keyboard. And on it, it's not a standard MIDI keyboard because it's an MPE type of a MIDI keyboard. So MPE comes from a MIDI polyphonic expression, so you get more information from the controller itself than from a traditional MIDI, where you have basically note on and note off and some other MIDI messages. Here it uses multiple MIDI channels to send MIDI information. Some new instruments already support it, so you can use it with new instruments, like for example in Ableton you have few instruments with MPE support. Here I
you don't have instruments in Luna. So if you haven't bought things from Universal Audio, so I basically took ROLI instruments, and here you can see the first thing like is that when I press it kind of mildly, and then if I press it like harder, it can give you an expression of that. And then here, of course, when you go and change the configuration of this one, for example, now I have the MPE mode enabled, but I haven't enabled the pitch bend. But if I do so, now I can also get the pitch bend information from the keyboard and from the MIDI controller, as well as the pressure. So you get multiple MIDI information regarding on that, and you can get quite expressive then on your quite expressive with your play. So it's good to check out also this MPE type of controllers to get more expression into your play, as well as this type of like a Monogram. There are others as well that you can use. This is quite used though, like a lot of like orchestral composers are using the Monogram and others as well. So if you look at other YouTube videos, you see that this is quite used controller of its kind. And I have to say that the quality is pretty good. The sliders are very stiff, and all in all the quality of this device is pretty awesome. Same goes with ROLI keyboard, so it's a great keyboard. Of course, I only have this one unit. You could stack these up so that you can have multiple of these, and in that sense you can basically get more keys into your play. So you can also chain these up similarly as you can basically plug in different type of modules into the Monogram system, so that you can then use and configure to control things. All right, let's move on. All right, let's pause the video over here and continue next Tuesday. Remember to subscribe for the channel so that you don't miss any content. Thanks for watching. See you soon.